I was bullied for years for being overweight, for having love handles, for having man boobs. I was embarrassed and ashamed of how my body looked even before the bullies. I wouldn't take off my shirt at the beach. I would swim at the beach, at the lake, with my shirt on, because that's how I felt about my body. And yes, I was young. When I was getting bullied, I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I was moving from elementary school to elementary school every single year, and I would always get picked on for being chubby, for having chubby cheeks, for having man boobies, for having love handles. And I knew I was overweight. I was playing WWE and drinking Mountain Dew and playing Pepsi and eating ho-hos. Being just a chubby little kid, and they call it chubby weight. But I was insecure, full of fear, and embarrassed and ashamed of my body. For years, I was bullied physically and verbally, pushed to the ground, kicked. They would call me fat. They would call me all these things, and it just destroyed my how I felt about myself, my self-worth, my self-esteem, right? Until one moment, I was about 13 years old, and I said, screw this. I'm tired of being this kid. I'm tired of them calling me these names. I'm tired of being bullied. And I stepped up to the bullies. Even when I was getting bullied, I would step up to them because I was this big, strong kid, and I wouldn't mess with it, right? But still, I felt like crap. I was insecure, right? So at 13 years old, I made a decision. I was listening to motivational videos just like this. Listening to motivational videos, started watching fitness YouTubers just like I am, right? And it changed my life. I was like, you know what? The time is now. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change. And guess what? That summer, between 5th and 6th grade, I was 140 pounds, like 5'4", right? I grew up to 5'7", and I dropped 40 pounds, right? In like 4 months. By doing hundreds of push-ups a day. I would do like 300, 500 push-ups a day. I would do lunges up and down the block. I would run around the block, multiple blocks. I would play basketball 4 to 8 hours a day. I would grab the dumbbells and start curling them. I would start doing chin-ups. I couldn't do a chin-up. I couldn't do a pull-up or a chin-up when I was before. But guess what? After training hard for 3 or 4 months, losing 30, 40 pounds, guess what? I could do like 8 chin-ups. I don't even remember, obviously. It's been a decade, right? But I did it, right? And guess what? Now I'm like 5'7", like 90 pounds, scrawny. And yeah, I was a lot more confident. I was playing basketball, this and that. But people would still bully me all the time for what? Being skinny now. Being scrawny. Being skinny and scrawny. And I said, you know what? No, this ain't about to happen again. I'm just going to do exactly what I did now. I'm going to dedicate and discipline myself to the weight room. And guess what? 6th, 7th, 8th grade, all through middle school, guess what your boy DC, Deven Cripe, did? I hit the weight room every single week without fail. Like I told you, in the last 10 years, I have not taken more than 2 weeks off of working out max, right? But for those 3 years, I was hitting the weight room minimum 3 days a week. Right? And if I couldn't hit the weight room, guess what I was doing? I was doing burpees. I was doing pull-ups. I was doing chin-ups. I was doing dips. I was doing push-ups. You couldn't stop me. I was relentless. I was going to become strong. I was going to get big. Guess what? Through training hard, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, guess what your boy? They're bullying me. They're telling me I'm not good enough. They're telling me I suck. They're telling me I'm scrawny. They tell me all this stuff. Guess what? In those 3 years, I became the strongest person in my high school by freshman year. Showing up, freshman year, squatting 405, benching over 200, right? I was a lot stronger than most people, right? And guess what? I was dedicated to basketball those 3 years too. By freshman year, I was a baller. I was no longer bullied freshman and sophomore year because I was the best. I was the best basketball player on the team, varsity, freshman, sophomore year, leading scorer, would score the most points in the game, strongest person in the high school, every single lift, right? Straight A's. I was a dedicated student. You couldn't stop me, right? And sure, kids are stupid. They'll still make fun of you and talk all that crap. But this is the thing. Guess what? Then your boy moves to a new city, moves to a new state, moves to Carson City, Nevada, where it's like 50% Latinos, and I don't know anybody, right? Everyone Hispanic, 50%, and then the 50% are all cliquey, this and that. So I wasn't necessarily bullied, but I was definitely an outsider compared to when I went in there. Junior and senior year, and that's when I fell into weed and alcohol and partying and drugs and making a whole bunch of bad decisions. Was crazy. Junior, senior year, I did that crazy amount, right? But that was a different type of bullying, or I don't know if I would call it bullying, but I was definitely an outsider. I didn't have that many friends, and I was secluded, right? Which is perfectly fine. Because guess what? The whole message of this video, guys, is I was bullied. But that was honestly the greatest thing that could happen to me in a lot of ways. Why? Because even now, life will try to bully you. Your job will try to bully you. Your boss will try to bully you. You know, you're gonna face bullies in life. As a man, you will face bullies in life. You might even bully yourself, right? But what comes down to it is, are you gonna stand up to the bully? Stand up, because people in the world will try to tell you who you are, what you can do, what you can't do, who you aren't, who you are, how you should live, where you should live, blah, 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 blah. People will say all this stuff. And people will put their own limitations upon you, their own idolatry onto you, their own philosophy onto you. They'll put these limitations onto you, their chains. And guess what? It's a form of bullying. And you just gotta say, hey, with all due respect, I will not stand up to your limitation. That is not who I am. This is who I am. That is not what I'll do. This is what I'll do. You being very firm in your own identity and what you want and who you are. When people put those limitations and tell you that stuff, you can stand up to the bully. You can stand up to those limitations. You can stand up to those people, right? And you do it in a respectful way, right? Unless they're being disrespectful, then you might be a little harder with it, right? But this is the thing. You got to stand up to the bullies. What friends, what family, who in your life is being a bully, and you got to knock them out, right? Not physically, but knock them out. Stand up to them. Hey, no, I am not that person. You will not talk to me that way. No, I will not do that. You will not talk about me that way. This is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I stand for. And you're going to respect it, or you're not going to be a part of my life. Period. Right? Stand up to the bullies. That's the whole point of this video, guys. I was bullied for years, and it was honestly a great thing for me, because it builds thick skin. It builds character. If you make it through it, right? But to make it through it, you got to make a decision that you're going to stand up to the bullies, and you're going to make a change, and you're going to become the strongest, best version of yourself, and those bullies are actually going to allow you to do that. All right, guys, there you go. Stand up to the bullies. I believe in you. Live your dreams, chase your dreams, stand up to the bullies. You got this. Talk to you guys soon. God bless.